Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Dallas Sports Pod. My name is Sam HT, and today the U will be discussed. We are going to the national championship. Also, the Miami Dolphins finally have a new GM. With me today, NIL advisor and future general manager of the Miami Dolphins, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Caro. Welcome to the program, James.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having me on, bro. Appreciate it.
Yes, what's funny when I literally this was last second, people. Last night had a great time watching the game. I know James had probably a phenomenal time watching this game. Let me tell you,
It was.
I'm on the phone with him. I'm on the phone with him, and I'm thinking, you know what? This would be a great idea for him to debut. And lo and behold, answers the call super easily. He's in his office. So let's get right back down to business, right? Miami is back in the national championship game for the first time since 2002. 31-27 is your final score, ladies and gentlemen. It's the game of the year, hands down. 7 lead changes, 3 in the last 5 minutes. One of the greatest games I've ever watched. Carson Beck, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just a pick, but 62% completion percentage. And the game-winning rushing touchdown. Mark Fletcher, steady as can be, 133 rushing yards. Shout out to Keelan Marion and Malachi Tony. Keelan Marion,
Those guys balled
114.
out.
Yes, they did, James. 114 yards for Keelan Marion, 7 catches. And then Malachi Tony, that screenplay that he took to the house, just phenomenal. James, I want to go ahead and kick it to you, man. Your thoughts on this game and what this meant for you overall, man.
To be honest, I want to say in my lifetime, this is the best team I've ever seen in Miami Hurricanes football history. I wish I was alive and watching those teams in the early 2000s and the 80s. My dad told me about, but this team's amazing, man. Cristobal has these guys playing hard, playing fast, violent football. Uh, and what's funny is that I have like an inside scoop, sort of. My brother-in-law, Ariel Martinez, played for Mario Cristobal back when he was coaching at FIU. And the first thing he told me was Miami's going to win a national championship with this guy because this guy knows how to win in the trenches, and ultimately that's how you win football.
Yeah, you want to know something? Every NFL prospect that was on display for the Miami Hurricanes is ironically in the defensive line and the offensive line, right, James? Like this is like one of those things where like Mario preached the trenches, and he backed it up. Brock Meyer at center, Markel Bell as the tackle. CC Maui Noah probably going to go in the first round, and then on the defensive side, what else is there to say about Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain that hasn't already been said, James? Like it's like
Dangerous boys. Those guys are dangerous.
dangerous. And now, granted, last night they didn't get a sack, but it really felt like last night was different from any other game that the Miami Hurricanes have played, simply because this is the best offense, hands down. The Miami Hurricanes are gonna play for the rest of the season, right?
I
Trinidad
agree.
Trinidad Chambliss, let's give him his flowers. He's fantastic. He is awesome. But I'll tell you this, he wasn't really running around like he wanted to, right? He really wasn't running around creating plays, creating chaos. And it really felt like Miami controlled the game throughout. Like it really didn't feel like Miami lost control. Those last 5 minutes, anything can happen, right? But throughout the entire game, it really felt like Miami was the better team. 41 minutes of time of possession and to Ole Miss's 18. That's the difference in the game, James.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Chambliss has been playing well the whole year, especially during the playoffs. And if you look at it, Miami said, look, you have to beat us with your arm, not your legs.
Right?
We're going to be blitzing you every time. We're going to have a spy on you. Someone's always going to be following you the whole time. I think he only broke off for maybe one good run past 5 yards, 8 yards. If you told the team before the game that was going to happen, they said, yeah, we won the game for sure then, because you take away his best weapon, which is his legs, and let him make him forced to be a pocket quarterback, you're going to win the ball game.
Absolutely. And considering like the it's crazy. You look at the stat sheet, you read it, and you're thinking to yourself, how did Miami even come close to losing? That it's incredible looking at this stat sheet. We outgained them in rushing yards. And by the way, James, this should be very mentioned. Aside from that 73-yard touchdown from Kewan Lacey, who's a dog, he tried to play injured after he injured himself in that 73-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that guy's gonna play on Sunday.
After that 73-yard touchdown, James, 48 rushing yards allowed, total 2.4 yards a carry. So the defensive line, even though they couldn't like, get to Trinidad Chambliss as much as you wanted them to, they had no run game to really lean on. So you forced Trinidad Chambliss to use his arm. And look, Trinidad made some plays. It's not like he didn't. I mean, they were very, very close to even winning the game off that Hail Mary. But nonetheless, Miami played the game exactly how they wanted to play the game. And that, I think, is something that heading into the national championship, you have to be feeling pretty good. Hey, we didn't play our best ball. We played about a C+, B- game, and we just beat the class of the SEC. I mean, this is the last remaining SEC team in the entire country. We beat them. So that's something that we gotta like pat our backs to just a little bit, James.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the whole year, our defense has been winning us the games.
Yes.
And this was, hey, offense, you got to step up, which last year, it was the opposite. It was the offense lighting up the scoreboard, averaging almost 40 points a game last year.
Yeah.
This year is not as dynamic, but it's still a great offense on the run game, especially. But Shannon Dawson did a great job in putting the ball in the hands of his weapons, especially Keenan Marion, which he hasn't been a big weapon throughout the whole year. And Shannon Dawson just said, hey, you know what? This guy is a great receiver we have. We're going to use him. And that took the pressure off Malachi Tony, one of the best receivers in the country, future first-round pick for sure. And that allowed him to come in his own later in the game as well. So it was a really balanced effort for Miami. Another 100-yard game for Mark Fletcher, who also has been balling out this playoffs. So the offense did what it wanted to. Shannon Dawson called a great game, in my opinion.
So I'm going to push back a little bit on Shannon Dawson calling a great game, because I do feel like there were some play calls where he kind of got too cute. Specifically, that Wildcat on the first drive that ended up forcing a field goal. I think, James, to me, that's way too cute considering how we got down the field, right? Mark Fletcher should have gotten more than 22 carries.
True. I agree with you. It was too cute, but what I like about Shannon Dawson and Mario, the sign of a quote-unquote failing coach is that they don't adjust. Shannon Dawson made adjustments.
Right.
That's what I like about his play calling, that he does adjust. Hey, we're not going to be able to do the cute stuff we do with Malachi Tony as him lining up as quarterback. All right, fine. They'll take that away. Let's go better butter. Hand it off to Mark Fletcher. Hand it off to Shamar Brown, who's a great back as well. And Carson Beck, at the end of the day, on that field, there was only one two-time SEC champion.
Yep.
And he plays for Miami.
Yes, sir.
And Shannon Dawson put the game in his hands and say, hey, look, I trust you. Let's go win it. And it worked.
Yeah, it did. And you know what? A lot of people said a lot about Carson Beck throughout this entire offseason, throughout this entire season. There were a lot of people who were like crying and really, really, really like thinking about last year, right? Last year we had Cam Ward. And everybody's like, oh my goodness, we had Cam Ward. If we just had Cam Ward a year later. But I think my thing with that would be, I think Carson Beck plays this football perfectly. Like Cam Ward, there's no replacing Cam Ward. He's the best. The best.
There's no replacing.
Yeah.
He's your first round pick from last year. You can't just say, if we had Cam Ward. Look, you did your job last year with him on offense. He balled out. If you had a chance on playoff, sure, you never know, but we're not in what ifs. Miami wants results.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you paid for a quarterback $4 million in the portal. He's a two-time SEC champion. There's a reason why he was good at Georgia. And mind you, last year at Georgia when he was playing there, they led not the division, not the conference, they led the country in drops.
Yep.
And now he plays in Miami. He comes to Miami, bringing C.J. Daniels, great hands. Malachi Tony, we know he has great hands from that one-hand catch.
Yeah, that catch is crazy.
So, at the end of the day, Miami's been needing a quarterback for the last 3 years. Back-to-back years, Cristobal brings in a good quarterback. And this offense, this offensive line, you don't need an A-plus first-round pick quarterback. And to me, Beck is anywhere from B-plus to A range. He's not bad at all. And he does good. And he's more mobile than you think. And in the playoffs, he's shown that.
Yeah, and Carson Beck, hasn't really been the story of the season. When you, the season as a whole has really been about Ruben Bain and this defense, and then offensively, really Malachi Tony, right? Mark Fletcher and Spurts, even
The O line.
and the offensive line. That was the story. Carson Beck really took a step back for a long time, a very long time. And when it was time for him to step back into the spotlight, lead a game-winning drive, he not only did it, he did it in tremendous, what I like to say, Brady-like fashion. Okay, that was insane. That was insane. Except Brady wouldn't run it in for a touchdown. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, true. You're right. I mean, that last drive, in my opinion,
Worth the $4 million.
That last drive got him drafted in the NFL in the first 3 rounds. I think. Because coaches want to see when it's not perfect, backs against the wall, you're going against a good team. SEC, the closest thing you're going to get to NFL competition. You gotta produce.
Right.
And even on third and long, third and manageable, he made big throw after big throw after big throw. He proved his worth, I think, in this last game.
I will say this. I think first 3 rounds might be a bit of a stretch. But what I will say is that I think head coaches and general managers are looking towards Carson Beck not that side-eyed anymore, right? Like they're definitely looking at him like he'd be. I don't know if he's going to be a starting QB in the league, given the talent that the NFL has. But hey, a steady hand as your backup QB, man, I will take that any day. A guy who doesn't turn the ball over too frequently, right? Make the right decisions. Doesn't turn. That's a good backup in the league. Now, this is crazy. I'm talking about Carson Beck as a backup, as if he's not about to lead us to a national championship. But if we're talking about in the confines in the NFL, it's a bit of a different ballgame.
The thing is, when it comes to the NFL, if you look at the quarterbacks playing the quote unquote best right now, aside from maybe one or two of them, majority of them don't come with from colleges that have the best players from the best teams. I mean, Lamar Jackson played at Louisville.
Yep.
Josh Allen played at Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes played at Texas Tech. At that time, they were not good. The only quarterback I think that played on a great team, that's great in the NFL, is Joe Burrow. But that's an outlier. He's uber talented. He's crazy. So I think what you see with Beck is you see a tall, strong arm quarterback, which at the end of the day, that's what you want. He sees the field. He can play in the system. I think that is going to get you on a team because coaches can see from there. I'm not sure he's a project, what most people want, what people like to see. But I think he's definitely draftable. And I think if he leads you to another national championship and plays a game like he did similar last game, he's definitely going first 3 rounds. I see a team like the Steelers. I see a team like the Vikings. I see a team like the Rams. They'll take a flyer on him.
I agree. I just don't think first 3 rounds. I think we're gonna. I will say this. That Carson Beck has definitely elevated his draft stock just within this playoff because he is not the 2 games that he played prior to this one right here. He was playing conservative, didn't turn the ball over, trusted the defense. And that was the story of Miami football for like the entire year. But now when you needed the offense, when the defense isn't perfect, right? And mind you, the defense wasn't perfect and the team wasn't perfect either, okay? We're talking about 10 penalties for 74 yards, 4 drop picks, 3 of them on 3 separate drives. We lost the turnover battle by 1, granted, but we lost it. Like, it was...
in my opinion, if we just cashed in on 60%, I'm not talking about all of them.
Oh, yeah.
60% of the picks.
It's a different game. Yep.
It's a blowout.
It's a different game.
Pick 6.
Yep.
You have a drop pick.
Yep.
Another one. But we're not talking about ifs. We're talking about what happened. And what happened was that Carson Beck, he didn't have to put the game on his shoulders the whole game, but he put the team on his shoulders that last drive. And like you said, throughout the year, he's been letting the team win the game.
Right.
He listens to the play call, lets the game come to him. Coaches want that. Coaches don't like hero ball. Right now, the next coach that coaches Cam Ward, I'm not trying to compare, but it's true. The next coach that gets Cam Ward, they're going to try to take the hero ball out of him. Caleb Williams is a great example. Last year, his rookie year, he tried too much hero ball, and he led the league and gained the most sacked as a quarterback. Now, Ben Johnson comes in, and he institutes a run game, making sure that Caleb Williams doesn't take too many sacks. And then 3 or 4 times, you're going to have to make a special throw. But 15, 18 times, you're going to have to do the basic throws, let the offense run through you, let the offense develop. and then they're gonna ask you to be special 3 or 4 times. I think Beck has the ability to be a starting quarterback just because of that alone. That
Right.
last drive, he was special. I'll say it. The
It
quarterbacks
was
before
it
Cam
was
Ward
special.
that Miami had would not be able to win that drive, in my opinion.
No, no, absolutely not. And look, man, we're far away from Tyler Van Dyke. Okay, it's been a very, very, very
Yeah.
long. The Tyler Van Dykes of the world, the Nkosi Perrys of the world, the Malik Roziers of the world. Hey, shout out to
We're
Malik
not trying to
Rozier.
call out.
Shout
We're
out
not trying
to
to call out anyone. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Malik Rozier. Look, I'm just saying it's my point is this. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. And those QBs that I just mentioned, they had their time at the U and they were a bit successful. But Carson Beck has brought another level to success to this program, and I'm incredibly proud that we're here right now. And honestly, it's a great change of pace. It's a great change of pace that the defense didn't win us the game and the offense did. Like 31 is that was awesome, James. I'm super glad.
I'm always proud to be a Hurricane fan, but today I'm definitely more like it means something now to be a Hurricane fan.
Yes.
Because you know me, I ride or die with any team in Miami.
Yes, sir.
So it feels nice to see the Miami Hurricanes after the first time in my life heading to a national championship.
Yeah.
Even though the generation before us was used to this, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
To see it, especially with Mario Cristobal, Miami raised, and Cuban descent as well. So it's awesome to see that.
Hey, man, it's been a long time coming. I'm very grateful we are here. It's been and then what I'm really proud of is how the recruiting is just getting better year after year after year, and the winning is only going to add to it. Like, this is not a 1 year thing, in my opinion. This is going to be something that really, like, I don't want to say dynasty because we haven't won anything, okay? But I would say a prominent team in college football, Miami is going to be that from here on out as long as Mario Cristobal is the head coach, right? And I'm grateful that Mario came in and, James, you said it, established the trenches, established the run game, established so many things that are so important, not in just the amateur level, but in the pro level as well. So this is something, look, and that's why Miami's in the national championship. So I'm grateful that the committee got it right, put us and gave us a chance on the road to Texas A&M, beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and then finally the Fiesta Bowl, thugging it out and winning a very hard-fought game against Ole Miss. It's just an incredible feeling. And, man, I am grateful that we're here, James. We're finally here. A winning football team in Miami. We haven't seen it in so long, James. So long, man.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I think you're right. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself as dynasty talk, but the way Miami can move in the transfer portal and NIL.
Yes.
And what, in my opinion, was huge is that the ACC. So for those of you who don't know, in a college football playoff, every conference, depending on how many teams they have in the playoff, they get rewarded.
Right.
So every round, there's a payout. There's a payout for all the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And the ACC, which Miami is in, they have a rule established several years ago. They did that Miami gets the whole payout. So the winning team of the ACC gets the whole payout. In this case, being Miami. They're getting $25 million.
Incredible.
Is the updated number now going to the national championship?
On top of the money that they already have. That's insane.
Exactly. And on top of Mario Cristobal, who's already a phenomenal recruiter. He got guys to go to FIU back in 2009 when FIU was a brand new program. He got T.Y. Hilton. For those of you who don't know, go get some ball knowledge. Go watch T.Y. Hilton. So if he'd established a program there with no NIL, and he established a program in Oregon with not as much NIL, or there was no NIL at that time, a program like Miami, now you just won a national or now you're just going to a national championship. The sky's the limit for this team, especially as someone who learned so much from Nick Saban, because he learned a lot from Nick Saban. And your backyard, Miami, South Florida, has all the talent in the world.
Right.
I think it's going to be like Black Friday shopping for him when he goes into a portal now with all his cash.
Right. Absolutely. And one final thing before we move on. I love how the best players on this team, like, as much as we've talked about Carson Beck, and we mentioned C.J. Daniels and Keelan Marion, who are phenomenal transfers in their own right. We mentioned even Akeem Mesidor, who's a phenomenal transfer as well. The best players on this team, make no mistake about it, are the homegrown players. Malachi Tony, Mark Fletcher, and Ruben Bain are the heart and soul of this program, and they are the entire reason why we are here in the first place. So in spite of the fact that, yes, Mario Cristobal utilizes the transfer portal very well, he has not neglected the homegrown talent. He has not neglected whatsoever building from within. And that is important.
Yeah, 100%.
In spite of the fact that, yes, we've had 2 transfer QBs. We have. And you know what? A part of me wants to build up a QB as a freshman, but another part of me wants to win. And if winning means bringing in Carson Beck, you do that, James. You do that. If winning brings in Sam Levitt, we do that. We do what we have to do. But the trend...
Well, look at
Go ahead.
The way the NIL and transfer portal era has been the last several years, the formula to win right now is not the 5-star freshmen, sophomores. Yeah. Right now, the way to win is get the best available talent. So you get someone that went to a lower end school or another school that started out as a 3 or 4-star. By the time they transfer into the portal in their second or third year, maybe in fourth year, they're that type of caliber player that has experience. So if you look at Indiana, they don't have any 5-star high school players on their team. What they have is a lot of transfers that have experience, that played in big games,
right,
and that were the man on their other teams, but cumulatively, they're all being great together. That's why Indiana's in the position they're in right now, besides Kurt Cignetti. He brought in experience along with talent, because talent alone is not going to get you anywhere. Like our secondary last night, that's a good secondary. They're just all very young.
Yep.
So now imagine those guys 2 or 3 years from now with this experience, they're going to be lethal.
Exactly.
So right now, in my opinion, I'm seeing the shift, and the shift is the transfer portal and getting experience on your side. So I don't mind getting a quarterback and the transfer portal again, because it's great to have experience along with talent. Because experience, Carson Beck won that game.
Yep.
Example, early in the season when we played against Notre Dame, Carr, the quarterback from Notre Dame, he's a great kid. He's a good player, but it's his first time starting on the road.
Yep.
Carson Beck, he's played those big-time games before. Remember, 2-time SEC champion as a starter. The guy can play in big games. So next year in the portal, I wouldn't mind going after a guy like Dalen Ariola, Lenore Sellers,
Sam Levitt as well. I think he is currently... Sam Levitt right now is on a visit to Miami as we speak. Like, it's happening right now. So...
Wow, really?
Yes, already. So, like,
nice.
Mario, we all know this. Mario Cristobal never stops recruiting. He never stops even when he's winning college football playoff games. And, hey, look, man, I mean, you said it, James. The way to win now in the college football playoff and beyond, I'm assuming, because I don't know if any regulations or rules are going to be set in place, the way to win is to get the experience or get the talent. And get the talent from the transfer portal. So,
well, what's happening right now when it comes to NIL, there's 2 different things. It all matters who are you getting the checks from.
Yes.
And in today's era, there's 2 ways. There's NIL, which meaning the University of Miami is not giving you a check.
Right.
The college is not giving you a check. You're getting the check from company A, who's a booster for the University of Miami, that allows you to use your name, image, or likeness, and there's a partnership there. Now, recently, the United States Supreme Court passed a bill, and it's already in place. It's already been working already, that allows colleges to pay up to a cumulative amount of $20 million to the college athletes in the university. Now, it's up to the athletic director. It's up to all of them to decide who gets the cash. When it comes to the check from the university, that's from there. Now, for example, we go in the transfer portal and pay Sam Levitt $5 million. That's probably from NIL, but it's not University of Miami writing that check.
Right.
Now, if I'm Miami,
I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Before my flight home back to Miami, I'm making a pit stop to Ohio State.
Oh
and
my
getting
gosh.
a blank check to Jeremiah Smith to come home. Jeremiah,
Oh my
you did your
goodness.
job at Ohio State. You won a natty there. You're gonna be a top 5 pick, even if you don't play next year. Come win one more natty in your hometown, Miami, and play with the boys in
Hey,
305.
hey, play with your former teammates. Why not, right? Like, I mean, if I'm a Miami kid, right, and my hometown team that really, that's really succeeding right now, and I'm gonna be a focal point of the offense. I'm still gonna be a top 5 pick, and I'm gonna be paid. I don't know how much money. James, how much would you pay him, man? Be honest. How much would you pay him with the NIL
I
money?
think I would. I think I'll give Jeremiah Smith north of $5 million.
North of 5 million?
I think it's worth that much.
Oh my goodness.
I think you have the most dynamic receiver in the country. If theoretically he does not play a single down of college football, he's still gonna be a top 5 pick.
Yep.
He's that talented.
Yeah, he's dang good.
And the thing is, every kid that's born and raised in Miami, they want to play for you.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith came out the day before he played Miami and said, I wanted to go to Miami. It's just at the time when I signed to Ohio State, they were a 5-win team.
And they paid a lot of money.
Look at Nick Saban's, all of his recruiting classes in Alabama, freshman, sophomore year of high school, those kids want to go to Miami because they get the offer. They want to commit there. And then Nick Saban comes down with probably, a better offer. And Nick Saban, Alabama, it's a winning program. Now Miami has the winning program, has the money. I see Mario Cristobal getting whoever he wants down from South Florida now. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, the day he was going to sign to Ohio State, he was texting Cam Ward, hey, I have a Miami hat right next to me. Where are you going? Cam Ward at the time didn't make his decision yet, so he didn't know. But Jeremiah Smith wanted to come to Miami. It's no secret. So these top players are from South Florida. They want to stay in the crib.
First of all, Jeremiah Smith has to actually enter the transfer portal. That has not happened, and I don't think it will happen by any means. But it is wishful thinking. But in this era of NIL, you never really know. Okay, we just had somebody recently transfer from Texas to Oklahoma, which is a cardinal sin in the Red River rivalry. You don't do that. And I would imagine if anybody from the U transferred to Florida State or vice versa, we'd be upset too. That is a cardinal sin. You just don't do that. And mind you, we have DJ Lagway who just entered the transfer portal from Florida. He's taking visits from Mike Norvell, FSU's head coach. So that is a cardinal. Like the one thing, the snaky thing about NIL is that the money will take you places that'll ruin your reputation potentially forever. Well, not ruin your reputation within the university. You know what I mean? But yeah, just interesting stuff going on in NIL and the transfer portal, James.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, when it comes to these players, you don't know if they're going to transfer or not. Cam Ward, we got really late. We got like in March.
Yeah.
He came into Miami. Carson Beck came in late. So in regards to the conversation of Jeremiah Smith having to enter the transfer portal, the single main window is open till January 16th.
Right.
Plenty of time. So if Jeremiah Smith was going to come to Miami, there's still plenty of time. I think he's honestly going to see what happens with the quarterback situation. If he sees Sam Levitt or Dylan Raiola come to Miami, I think he might do it. There's a serious chance.
We'll see. I'm a little higher on Sam Levitt than I am on Dylan Raiola. I think Sam Levitt is a stud, man. He could go to the NFL genuinely as one of a first round
picks. He's a Sunday.
He's playing on Sundays for sure. Absolutely. Speaking of Sundays, the Miami Dolphins have hired a general manager. John Eric Sullivan has been hired by Stephen Ross to be the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Now, John Eric Sullivan's background is very interesting. He was a scout for Green Bay for a very long time. He came into the league in 2003. He held various positions such as co-director of player personnel and director of college scouting. And he was promoted in 2022, so pretty recently, to vice president of player personnel. He is now the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Fun fact about John Eric Sullivan: his father was Jerry Sullivan, who is a longtime NFL head coach and college head coach. So NFL really runs within his blood. He has a lot of experience. James, I want to know what you think about this hire.
I like it because he's been with a winning program, the Packers. If you like
Yes.
him or not, they're one of the blue bloods in the NFL, winning program, winning franchise. Since 2002, they have won. They have
Yes.
more bad years and good years. Not like the mediocre years the Dolphins fans have.
Yeah.
We have mediocre. Packers are not mediocre. If they're mediocre, they get rid of people. And what I like a lot is that since he became vice president in 2022, which is now he's making decisions. They've drafted well and they made good deals. They brought in. I do 100% believe he was involved in making the deal happen with Micah Parsons,
Mm-hmm.
which elevated their defense at the time. He was definitely in the move to get Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
He was definitely in the move to draft all those receivers they have: Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, talented receivers. And he was there getting all these defenders: Jair Alexander, Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark. They eventually traded him, but it was a great draft from him. So my always knock on our past GM Chris Greer. He was with the Miami Dolphins for 20 years, and what happened? No playoff wins, no nothing. Sullivan, in my opinion, I would say is the opposite. He's built the Packers for 20 something years, and stuff has happened while he's been there. Since 2022, he's had a good resume. Several playoff wins, great players they picked up, great players he's done in trades and drafts. I think he could have a great career in the Miami Dolphins. It's up to him to find that head coach. I think, honestly, Stephen Ross is listening to Troy Aikman because
Yeah.
early this year, people were saying Stephen Ross is not going to fire Mike McDaniel. He loves McDaniel. That's his guy. And then all of a sudden, we hire Troy Aikman, and his guy's out like that.
Yep.
2 days after the season officially ends for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I think Troy Aikman sees that the city of Miami is hungry for a great Dolphins team, and he knows that Miami, when football is playing well here in the Dolphins, the city's electrifying. I mean, I'll give credit's due. McDaniel in 2023 gave us Dolphins fans one of the best years in a long time.
He gave us hope. Yep.
So, yeah, Aikman saw that and said, all right, now we need someone who can bring that consistently. And he told Stephen Ross, look, you're not going anywhere without getting a whole new regime change, and that's what's happening right now. So I'm excited for the offseason.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and it always made sense to get rid of all three heads of the snake. It never made sense to keep one like snaking around, and like the regime failed. It failed. Chris Greer failed. Mike McDaniel failed. Tua failed. We failed. It happens. We move on. Something about John Eric Sullivan. I was listening to an interview. I read an article from Barry Jackson. Shout out to him. And some of the quotes that I really loved from him. This is one of them, and this is, I think, James, you're gonna love this. Building through the draft and supplementing through free agency. The draft is your lifeblood. Let me tell you something about the Miami Dolphins, man. Let me tell you something. The last couple of years have been a lot of flashy moves, right? Signing players. And even though we've drafted some nice players, we've never really kept them, right? And unfortunately for us, it has led to momentary success and long-term mediocrity. I think John Eric Sullivan is going to put that to an end. And I think now we're going to have something that we've really never seen before. An actual, somebody who can not just draft well, but not just draft well and just get guys from free agency that are like blockbuster guys. No, we're going to draft these guys, and these guys are going to be really, really good. And free agency is going to be used to just complement that. And that's something we never really did. Like, yeah, well, granted, Tua, Tyreek Hill worked out temporarily, right? Bringing Teron Armstead worked out temporarily. I think this is more of a long-term thing for John Eric Sullivan. So that's something I like. And then another thing I like, this is my favorite quote, actually. Analytics will not supersede film. Let me tell you something about these. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be messy right now, James. I like stats. I really do. But film never lies. It never lies.
Don't lie.
Okay, what you see is what you get, right? And I don't care how fast this guy ran. I don't care what his three-cone shuffle was. I don't care I really don't even care what his statistics are in the college. What I care about is, are you good enough to play in the league? And I think that John Eric Sullivan is going to be good based on what this quote says, unless he's lying to us. And if he is lying to us, you'll hear from me and you'll hear from James. But I love this quote, James, and I think that's something that we really need in Miami.
Man, what I like so far, Ron, looks about this hire is that, put it this way, in Green Bay, it's a small market.
Right.
They don't spend money often.
No.
When they do, it's something they believe in. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
Micah Parsons.
Yep.
Miami Dolphins have spent money willy-nilly. Why? Because they have a rich owner, Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross is a good owner in the sense that he'll pay when he has to. He'll pay. So this is actually pretty biblical. John Eric Sullivan was faithful in the little in Green Bay. The little being the money that they spend is not as much as the Dolphins. Now he's being rewarded in the big.
Yep.
The Dolphins have one of the deepest pockets. Stephen Ross is probably one of the top five owner in the NFL in terms of net worth wise.
Right.
And Stephen Ross wants to win the Super Bowl really badly, and you could tell because it's like his fifth coach in the last 9 years.
Yeah.
So you can tell he wants to win. And I think John Eric Sullivan is going to lead us to a good era in the sense that he's going to build through the draft. And when there's someone on the market that you have to go get, he'll do it.
Right. And another quote, this is the last quote that I wrote down from him. He's not a fan of groupthink. So what that means is he's not a big fan of yes men, which is I feel like what Stephen Ross. I mean, look. I don't want to say Stephen Ross is constantly bringing in yes men, but it did feel like we got a bit complacent with who we were bringing in, right? Like even the fact that Champ Kelly was one of the finalists to win the GM job. No disrespect to Champ Kelly, he did a solid job while he was here. Like, you know, kind of reining things in after Chris Greer was fired. But guys, like, we can't have anybody in house. It can't be anybody in house. Chris Greer was with this organization for 25 years. And in those 25 years, nothing good happened. This guy, John Eric Sullivan, was in Green Bay, in those rooms when Aaron Rodgers, even with Brett Favre, with all the winning Green Bay Packer teams. Now, granted, did they win a lot of Super Bowls? Not really, but you want to know something? We haven't won playoff games. So I'd much rather get to that level than at least get to a consistent level where we're winning football games, winning playoff games, and constantly being a contender, James, rather than just being mediocre like we are right now.
Exactly. I think John Eric Sullivan, he's at a franchise, the Packers, that are not okay with mediocre because they're a small market team. The payout is only good for them if they win big. AKA like Aaron Rodgers, who I want to say for like out of 10 years, he went to the NFC Championship like 7 times. He went to the NFC Championship a lot. So he's one game away from multiple Super Bowls. So I think honestly, Sullivan did great in his time there. He did his job. He won a Super Bowl. So now he's going to a franchise like the Dolphins, who have been mediocre and chasing consistent greatness, which you could say in the last 20 years, Dolphins had maybe 1 year, 2023. It could have been 2022 if Tua stayed healthy. I think we'd probably go on a run if he stayed healthy, but he did not. So, you know, I think he's going to lead us to a good era of Dolphins football.
Yep.
I really do think so. And we'll see what he does with the 11th pick right now and how he deals with the cap space right now.
And well, we're over the cap by $23 million, so that's going to be, it's going to be it's not going to be an overnight thing for John Eric Sullivan. So we're going to give him some time to really develop. One thing that he has to figure out now is who's going to be the guy to lead the men. So, yeah.
Who do you take? Give me your top 2 options.
Oh, man. I was thinking John Harbaugh for a long time, but this hire kind of just gets rid of that. Although I will say Stephen Ross does have connections to the Harbaugh family, so that's really all there is. Like that's all we have in order to get John Harbaugh. Because quite frankly, guys, if we're being realistic, this is one of the worst situations in football. Like there are multiple jobs right now. There are multiple jobs right now that are open that are just better for you to win immediately. Like that's just a reality. Miami doesn't have a QB right now. They're over the cap. They have the 11th overall pick, so not a very high draft pick. Like And then we're on top of that, a lot of dead money on the table, like Tua, Tyreek Hill, right? And it's let's be blunt here, it's not a good situation for a general manager, much less a head coach. Um, if I were to name two candidates, you mentioned this earlier before we press record. I like the Chris Shula. Hi, I think what he did with the Rams for the couple years that he's been there, he's been really good. And then somebody else that really hasn't been mentioned too much that I think personally that I wouldn't mind. I mean, Robert Saleh. Like, is that really a bad situation? I understand he was a coach at the Jets, and it's a little crazy getting a coach of the Jets and bringing him down to Miami. Guys, those were top 10 defenses consistently when he was there, and he had no QBs. Even when Aaron Rodgers got there, no QBs to really like bail him out when the defense literally had to play perfect. So Robert Saleh, and I'll throw one more in there. I'll throw in Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator. I think he's
like
done some
him?
good stuff.
I don't know why. I'm not a big fan.
I'm a bit. I think he's a sleeper one for me. I don't think he should be the guy you get like immediately. I like Chris Shula and Robert Saleh a lot more. But yeah, now I will say this. Now that John Eric Sullivan has been hired, one candidate that we're gonna have to look at for the head coaching, Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. I would assume that they have ties, and the Packers defense has been good, so maybe he gives him a chance just due to the fact that they're familiar with each other. Not very sure. We'll see what happens. But who do you think, James?
In my opinion, I think you have to make the decision after this weekend of playoffs because let me show you why. I think John Harbaugh has two teams in mind. However, he's thinking, and you're gonna be crazy right here. You're gonna go crazy. If Buffalo loses in the first round, there's a chance that Buffalo go gets John Harbaugh, and he would love to coach Josh Allen.
You think so?
I think that's a top 5 job in the top 2 job.
Do you think Sean McDermott gets fired though? Like, what? How do they get rid of Sean McDermott after all the winning he's brought to Buffalo?
How does the Ravens fire John Harbaugh? He delivered a Super Bowl.
Well, the difference is that John Harbaugh did win a Super Bowl, but he also had 6 years with Lamar Jackson to get it right, and he hasn't. Now, granted, Sean McDermott has had years to get it right, but he's also had closer opportunities. Like there have been times where like it's just how in the world did this happen? Like the game in the divisional round back in like I think it was 2021 or 2022, I believe. Bro, that is one of those things where it's like how do you even like they should have won the game. 13 seconds, you should have won the game. So
true, but you just brought up the argument. He's been with Josh Allen for 7 years, and quarterbacks that are top 10, top 12 quarterbacks, they get 2 head coaches at least before they get moved on from. So I think it's time for Josh Allen's second coach. If theoretically, if Burrow goes 2 more years in the Bengals without going anywhere, Zach Taylor's going to be gone because coaches.
He should already be. Zach Taylor should already be gone, honestly.
But let's flip the script. In this case, let's just say Tua wasn't the problem. It's been McDaniel's whole time. McDaniel been fired, and Tua would still be the quarterback. Point is that quarterbacks genuinely they get at least 2 coaches before being moved on from. It's time for Josh Allen's second coach because they have had no success. So I think Harbaugh's really waiting after this weekend because if Buffalo goes on a run, you're not going to fire him. If he loses in the first round, I think he does get fired. So I think Harbaugh is definitely considering Buffalo if that happens. So he's keeping his options open. So I'll go Harbaugh first. My second choice, honestly, I like Kevin Stefanski. I really do. It was not his fault that the Browns have been inept at quarterback the last 4 years. He liked Baker. He did not want to move on from Baker. That decision to go get Deshaun Watson was purely the owner and the GM. He liked Baker. Baker was his guy. He liked Baker. And they won a playoff game and almost beat the Chiefs on the road the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Go watch it. 2021 or 2020.
It happened, yeah. That was the closest a lot of teams have been.
Almost beat the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah.
The Browns had a good squad. And I'm telling you, man, if Baker never left Stefanski not be getting fired right now.
I think Stefanski's only thing is that he was never able to build upon. Now, granted, circumstances changed, right? Like circumstances did change. Like after Baker Mayfield won that they won 11 games, I believe, back in 2021, and they won that and they won that playoff game, and we're going all the way and took the champs and put them on the ropes. Honestly, like circumstances changed, Baker got hurt, and the losing started. And I think I don't know if you could call Stefanski a scapegoat, but I will say that he was dealt a bit of a. I think with some of the talent that he had, even though it was a bad hand, it shouldn't have been that bad. I don't think it should have been like
He
four
took Joe
win
Flacco to
five.
the playoffs.
Yeah, that's very true, and I'll give him 1,000% credit for that for sure. But I think there comes a time where you have to build something, and I don't think he was building anything offensively that had any kind of structure. He didn't have a lot of weapons. He didn't draft the right weapon. Well, him and the GM didn't draft the right weapons.
It was the draft. It was the GM. I think combined with John Eric Sullivan, Stefanski can get the best out of the future Dolphins. And besides him, my third pick would be Chris Shula.
Yeah.
He's been learning under the tutelage of Sean McVay, who's one of the brightest head coaches in the NFL. If you look at the point that Chris Shula took over on the defense as the defensive side in the Rams,
right?
They don't have look. The Rams defense has been one of the best defenses in the last 3 years. Outside of Jared Verse, there's not a lot of big names, and that defense has been balling. You could say, but at the beginning of this year, the Dolphins have bigger names on defense than the Rams. And the Rams' defense is still better. Besides Jared Verse, I cannot name you 2 defensive linemen on the Rams that are better than the Dolphins. I can't.
So I mean, the Rams do have. Now, I don't want to like disrespect the Rams too much because they do have some dogs. Like Kobe Turner is a stud, bro. Like Byron Young also a stud. Look, Kobe Turner's a stud. Byron Young's a stud. Their safety, and their defensive line, I like Braden Fisk. Like, are they better than the defensive linemen that the Miami Dolphins have? On paper, maybe not, but like it's just like the production is there. And
of course, yeah, the Rams have studs. I'm not discrediting them. I'm just saying, I'll take a look at Chris Shula. In my opinion, he comes from a program that delivers excellence. The film doesn't lie. Look at the Rams defense, the way they play.
Yeah,
that's him.
Lately, it's been a little weird because it's been weird. I won't lie. Their run defense has been a little shaky, which is a very big question mark coming into their game against the Panthers. Which I do think the Rams will step up and win that game. But it's interesting to see who Sullivan is going to choose. I think he's going to start with interviewing Jeff Hafley. I think he's going to start there with some familiarity. I think he's then going to go on and hopefully he gets that John Harbaugh interview, the Shula interview, the Stefanski interview. I think giving him another shot doesn't sound like a bad idea. It's just what happened with the Browns is just, but it's the Browns, so it's like hard to really evaluate that.
Exactly. My thing is that whoever you hire, you got to do it earlier than later because that head coach has to bring in a staff. And the earlier you get the head coach, the best word I could describe his pick of the litter of staff.
Right.
Because let's be honest, a great head coach is great, but you need a good staff. Like look at Dan Campbell. People think he's a great coach. He is a good coach, but he lost his staff, and now the offense took a huge step back without Ben Johnson. They had Ben Johnson for a decent amount of time though, so you have to get good staff under you as the head coach. So you got to get a head coach early, so that way that head coach can get their pick of the litter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think McDaniel did that because he's a first-time head coach. So that's the only the only hesitation I have on any first-time head coach. That's why I like Harbaugh, who's been who's been in the league for a long time and knows who more or less can produce.
I understand. I just think. I think first-time head coaches, like especially like this year, like we've seen multiple first-time head coaches, first-year head coaches, have success. Like Liam Cohen is a 13-win head coach in his first year with, by the way, a Jaguars team that is without Travis Hunter. So their blue chip prospect that they brought in is not playing the games, and they've won 13 of them. Now, granted, some of it is because of a weak schedule, but some of it is also because they're that good. Okay, like they beat the Broncos, who are the class of the AFC right now. So, that's that. And
The
that,
Jags, I don't think have a weak schedule. They had a pretty decent hard schedule.
nah,
I mean,
I late in the season when they started to get hot, that's when their schedule started to get a little bit weaker, just a bit weaker.
I mean, I think that win against the Chiefs early in the year was really impressive.
That was
I
impressive
think,
at the time. Yeah,
did they beat the Chargers?
I believe they actually lost to the Chargers if I'm not mistaken. I can go double check. They beat the Chargers though. They beat the Chargers by 29. Yeah, they beat the.
Yeah, the Jaguars are not. I'm telling you right now, that's a good.
Chargers have been banged up, but then they face, like, this is what I'm talking about. Then they face Arizona. Then they face Tennessee. Indy without Daniel Jones. They face New York. Like, to end the season, they play Denver, impressive win on the road, but then they play Indianapolis again, and then Tennessee again. So, like I said, a relatively weak schedule. There are a couple games there that are tough, like Denver and the Chargers. Even the Chargers, though, have been banged up. Look, Justin Herbert has not looked the same since his arm injury. So, it's first year head coaches are interesting. But we'll see, man. We will definitely see. Just to wrap up, there is one more piece of news before we go ahead and wrap this up, gentlemen. John Morant requested a trade. Not requested a trade. The Memphis Grizzlies are offering or entertaining trading John Morant. So should the Heat be interested, James?
I think they got to get someone that this Heat team, this Heat team this year, they have a lot of quote unquote dogs, which is good. You're going to need that. They need a 1A player that can give you 25 to 30 in a playoff game. We don't have that. I think if we did, this would be a dangerous team. If you can get the best out of John Morant, which was, in my opinion, 2022 in the playoffs when they were the top seed.
Oh, yeah.
If you can get that version John Morant combined with this Heat team, I think you go for it. However, I think you should definitely just, in my opinion, I think Pat Riley should do something he's never done and just do a rebuild in the sense that move off of anyone that's getting big money. If it hurts, it hurts. You got to get rid of Bam, get rid of Hero. Because, look, Bam's great. Bam's, if he stays in Miami, his whole career is going to have his jersey retired, I think. It's just he's getting paid way too much to be your third option.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think with John Morant, it's I say low risk. Like if we can get a good deal out of it, do it. But honestly, like it's.
I think if we get rid of the Hero contract and it's not going to cost you it's not going to cost you Hyman, it's not going to cost you a first round pick. Do it.
That's an entirely different problem, Tyler Hero's contract. But we will definitely see. I'll probably go and do a full breakdown next week on the Dallas Sports Pod. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank James so much for joining me here. You brought some insightful stuff for sure. If you guys like this video, please like I already said, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Dale.